welcome to this press conference or rather press briefing by the family of late Bamise Ayanwola. Our organization, Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, of which presently I'm the state chairman, Lagos State branch. What we do basically as a human rights organization is to pursue justice. As regards Bamishe, chapter 4 of Nigeria's constitution is very clear on it. That is rights to life. Even the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, of which Nigeria is a signatory, endorses the fact that rights to life is #1 right. And that section of the constitution, and Nigeria being a signatory, chapter 4, section 33 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria states that no person or group of persons has any right to take the life of another. And when that happens, the culprits are supposed to be brought to book, and that is the responsibility of the government. We're also saying that section 14B of the same constitution says, and I quote, "The welfare and security of the citizens is the primary purpose of government." Unquote. So in the case of Bamishe, we are saying that she had the belief, of course, this is BRT, government vehicle, is safe.
Yes.
Let me go into this vehicle. Then rather unfortunately, she met an untimely death. But because we know, and I want to say it emphatically, and I stand to be corrected, that if Bamishe had entered a private vehicle called One Chance, and this type of thing happened, government would blame her that they provided BRT for the safety of citizens. She now going to go and enter the BRT One Chance. But now, the death as it may, thinking that this vehicle is safe. Now look at what happened. It took 3 years for judgment to be delivered. Similar murder cases didn't take up to 6 months. The case that happened in Ife, the Adego case that went and was murdered in Ife, within 6 months judgment was given by the Osun State Judiciary. Even in Lagos State, a female lawyer, Barrister Mrs. Bolane Rahim, who was shot by a trigger policeman at Aja, 26th of December 2022, almost 10 months after that of Bamishe, judgment was given within 6 months. Why has that of Bamishe taken up to 3 years for judgment to be given? And not only that, it was as a result of pressure put upon the government by the family and our organization Committee for the Defense of Human Rights. But we are like boss of the voiceless and defender of the defenseless. We wrote several letters. We had to protest to the Lagos State House of Assembly in demanding to meet with the speaker. We were told something will be done. When we didn't get anything, we wrote to the Chief Judge of Lagos State. We were sure that the case will be given as a related hearing. 500 days were the assembly. We were holding press conference 600 days, 700 days, 800 days. And when it was 900 days, the case was still not moving. We wrote to the governor. We declared the letter, it was acknowledged. And it was all over in the press that why is this unnecessary adjournment which led to where we are. So it was then, I think, when we thought that the case was going the way it was going, that's why it was now speeded up, and judgment was delivered 2nd of May 2025. So the point that we, as a human rights organization, we are concerned with is the fact that Bamishe has started the process of getting the culprit. Because if at the point she was inside the BRT bus, if she had not been communicating with her friends, she told them nobody will know how she died. Nobody will have known. But that information that she was passing to her friend, she already gave the instant of, oh yes, this was what was happening, and from there the family and the organization took it up. And that was the reason, right here in this world, on the 11th of June 2022, Committee for the Defense of Human Rights gave Bamishe a posthumous award of Woman of Courage. So at that point in time, she could have been panicking, these people will still do what they wanted to do. But she was so bold, she developed courage and exposed the activity. So at that point now, what you are now saying is this. The other people who are inside that vehicle, if the police want to do it, I believe they can do it. While the court, when the voice of Bamishe was played, and she was telling her friend, they say, who are those in the outside? Okay, 2 other people among women, please pray for me. The voice was played, we had it in the court. So I think if they follow up, or even the culprit himself, who is now condemned, has he been questioned, who are these other people in the vehicle? So what we are saying is that judgment was given, but justice has not been fully served. Because those culprits too, let them be identified, named, and brought to justice. So that, which means from Bamishe's voice, it was not only Andrew that was inside the vehicle. Even in one of the other court sittings, the DPP mentioned that the death of Bamise was caused by Andrew, and others still at large. If others are still at large, who is going to look for those others? That's the police. And I believe the Nigerian police is very, very capable to do that, so that then there will be justice. Then the issue of the phone belongs to Bamise. Now that judgment has been given, why can't the phone be returned to the family? It is our property, because it's our money. So why is anybody under the police, or why are they still keeping it? If they are still keeping it, they want to give us the impression that further investigation is still on to unravel the mystery and to know those 3 other people who are there inside the vehicle. But if not, if they think they have concluded the investigation and the matter is to be laid to rest, let the phone, which is our own property, be returned to the family. That is simply what I want. So we are in line with the decision of the family. And then what we have also said, which has been part of our demand, is that, which was also read in the text, is that the convict now, what impression, how did we know that he was actually in prison custody? Because we had the case of what do you call that person? Is it Bamise, who we thought was in prison, but an apartment was threatened for him. He will only come out on the day and then be returned. Because there was nothing to who we thought was in prison, but an apartment was threatened for him. He will only come out on the day and then be returned. Because there was nothing to even show. At a particular time, even while the court process was going on, the defense counsel came to court and was saying that Andrew broke his leg and I couldn't walk, and that was the reason they prolonged the adjournment. Believe you me, the next day when he came, while he was called to the door, he walked very fast, and the judge, the Honorable Justice Shinaki said, defense counsel, is this the person you said injured his leg? That even somebody was injured, his leg was injured a few months ago, would not walk very fast like this. He couldn't say anything. So all this made us to think that there are certain things that happened along the line. But why was judgment delayed for 3 years? And like we said, and we may go to say it again, if Bamishe had been the daughter of a known politician or the daughter of the governor, would the case spend up to 3 years? So this long delay before judgment is given gives room for a lot of insinuations. And that is the reason we are saying that, one, let those other people be identified. Well, since Andrew has been condemned and is sentenced to death and he dies, but those other people who are also culprits, are we sure they will not continue with the same thing? And again, questions have been asked, and I want to quickly, in few seconds, say, why was Bamishe given a posthumous award by organization? If you listen to the judgment, we have been following the court case. Bamishe was not the first victim of Andrew. It happened in November 2021, the case of Mary Jane, who was also raped in that same vehicle. The top clothes she was wearing that day was brought to the court and shown to everybody. So it happened in November 2021. In December again, somebody else was a victim, Dr. Victoria Anosike, another attempted rape. So which means, and like the judge said in her statement, who knew somebody else could have been a victim even in January? There could have been some other Bamishes that were not known, if not until that of Bamishe came out. That of Mary Jane was not even reported. So what we are now saying is that so Bamishe was given that posthumous award. If not that this one was now exposed, there's every possibility that this same driver will have done it to somebody at the end of March, at the end of April, because it has almost become a monthly ritual. So this is why we are saying that government should go a step further. Oh, the judgment was fine, but until those other culprits are identified, are we sure they will not continue to do other things? So let government take a step further. Fine, like the family have said, the judgment has been fair enough, because the main culprit has been held. But those other people, they can still get a further and bring them to book. We don't go to Bamishe's family. Then the next step, like we always say, I mean, people have been advised, We know that no matter what the government does, Bamishe could not be brought to life. But Bamishe has laid the foundation that if you see one of the things that was even written was said about her, it's like she sacrificed her life for young Africans who could have been victims. The question is, if Bamishe still didn't happen, who knew who the next victim could have been after her? Take a formula and bring them to book. We don't go to Bamishe's family. Then the next step, like they always say, I mean, people have been advised. We know that no matter what the government does, Bamishe could not be brought to life. But Bamishe has laid the foundation that if you see one of the things that was even written was said about her, it's like she sacrificed her life for young Africans who could have been victims. The question is, if Bamishe still didn't happen, who knew who the next victim could have been after her? In maybe March, I hope of February 2022, March, April, May, who could have been the next victim? And that's why we have been also advocating let there be justice. So that those could have been victims, could have been a religion of yours, could have been a religion of mine. But those ones are unknowingly now, they have been saved from that trauma of what happened to Bamishe. So what we are saying that let the government take a step further and address this issue, and those are belonging will come to the family. And then adequate compensation, if it was mentioned there. If they take 10 million, cannot bring back the life. But let government show that sign that yes, this person who knew who she could have been in the future could have been very, very great. Possibly a future first lady. Nobody can tell. And her life was terminated inside the government facility for that matter. So let them be concerned for that, for adequate compensation. Even though you cannot bring back that life, but let government show that concern through that adequate compensation which the family is asking for. And when that is done, plus all the other demands, then you can say that justice has really been served in this matter. Thank you very much, gentlemen of the press.